Vladimir Putin has unleashed a fresh wave of hell on Ukraine, as Russia's Oreshnik missile rains down on Kyiv in one of the most menacing strikes of the war so far. Moscow's wrath has set parts of Kyiv ablaze, marking what Russia presents as its first act of revenge for what it calls Ukraine's crime in Luhansk. About 5 people were injured and multiple buildings were left burning in a ferocious missile and drone onslaught. Questions are now swirling over whether President Volodymyr Zelensky failed to protect his own citizens, despite having advanced intelligence from the US and Europe. Kyiv knew this could be the third Oreshnik strike on Ukraine, yet its air defenses were still unable to fully prevent the latest wave of devastation. Just hours after Ukraine publicly warned of a looming Oreshnik attack, Russia launched a major missile and drone barrage overnight on May 23 to 24, making good on its threats. Monitoring groups said that more than 50 Russian missiles and over 700 drones were directed at Ukraine. At least 1 person was killed and 24 others were injured in the Russian attack, officials said. A second wave of strikes began around 3 a.m., with air raid sirens wailing across multiple regions as people scrambled for shelters. Explosions were also reported in the cities of Cherkasy, Kropivnitsky, and Khmelnytsky, indicating a broad, countrywide targeting pattern. Russian media outlets themselves reported that Oreshnik ballistic missiles were used, directly echoing the very warning Zelensky had issued a day earlier. Meanwhile, a separate Russian drone attack struck a funeral procession near Sumy, killing at least 1 person in an especially grim incident. On May 23, Zelensky had warned Ukrainians that Russia might soon strike using Oreshnik missiles, urging the public to take air raid alerts seriously. He said this warning was based on intelligence shared between Ukrainian services and their American and European partners, underscoring the seriousness of the threat. Zelensky also claimed Moscow might be preparing a combined strike that would use multiple weapon types simultaneously to overwhelm defenses. He specifically mentioned that the Oreshnik intermediate-range missile could be one of the key weapons used in such a combined barrage. Zelensky said, and I quote, "Our intelligence services reported receiving data, including from American and European partners, about Russia preparing a strike with the Oreshnik missile. We are verifying this information. We are seeing signs of preparation for a combined strike on Ukrainian territory, including Kyiv, involving various types of weaponry. The specified intermediate-range weapons could be used in such a strike. It is important to act responsibly on air raid alerts, starting this evening. Russian madness truly knows no bounds, so please protect your lives, use shelters." End quote. Moscow first used the Oreshnik missile against Ukraine in a major attack back in November 2024, marking the weapon's combat debut. At that time, Russia claimed the missile had been aimed at a Ukrainian military-industrial facility, framing the strike as a blow against Kyiv's war machine. A second reported use of Oreshnik came in January 2026, when missiles struck targets in the Lviv region in western Ukraine. Russian claims about the system include that its warheads can withstand temperatures comparable to those found on the surface of the sun, adding to its fearsome image. The much-quoted 4,000 degrees Celsius figure for the Oreshnik missile's re-entry or impact temperature comes directly from President Vladimir Putin himself. The latest attacks on Kyiv followed an earlier strike in which Ukraine reportedly hit a college dormitory in Luhansk between May the 21st and 22nd. Russia says at least 21 people were killed and 42 wounded in that attack, which Moscow denounced as a monstrous crime by Kyiv. Ukraine has denied Russia's accusations, while Putin publicly warned that there would be a stern response to the incident. Putin labeled the Luhansk strike a terrorist attack and ordered his military commanders to prepare suggestions for how to exact revenge. These new missile and drone attacks coincided with Russia and Belarus conducting nuclear drills just kilometers from the NATO border, sending a pointed signal to the West. Amid already high tensions with NATO, Russia and Belarus kicked off massive nuclear exercises on May 21st, turning large swathes of their territory into a theater for simulated atomic warfare. Moscow says 6 different nuclear-capable missile systems were launched during the drills, each chosen to showcase a different part of its strike portfolio. The exercises stretched from European Russia and Belarus all the way toward the Pacific test ranges, underscoring that this was a full-scale demonstration, not a single region event. Submarines, surface warships, strategic bombers, and ground-based launchers all took part, weaving together sea, air, and land-launched strikes in one script. Reporting around the drill suggests the goal was to underline just how diverse Russia's nuclear arsenal has become, from heavy ICBMs to tactical systems and new hypersonic weapons. All of this is happening while Moscow publicly warns NATO states against any direct military escalation, using the drills as both a signal of readiness and a tool of deterrence. As part of the exercise, Russia test-fired an Rs-24 Yars intercontinental ballistic missile, one of the core pillars of its land-based strategic deterrent. The Yars launch originated from the Plesetsk site in northern Russia and flew toward the remote Kamchatka test range, rehearsing a full-length strategic shot across the country. Russia's Rs-24 Yars is widely viewed as its primary land-based nuclear deterrent missile, designed to ensure a survivable second strike capability. It is capable of carrying multiple nuclear warheads on a single booster, allowing one launch to threaten several targets at once. Current assessments say Yars missiles equip around 8 Russian missile divisions, forming the backbone of several strategic rocket regiments. In total, roughly 150 Yars missiles are believed to be active in service, split between different bases and deployment modes. The system can be launched from both road mobile transporter erector launchers and hardened silo emplacements, complicating enemy targeting. Yars formally entered Russian service in 2010, replacing older Soviet-era designs with a more flexible, MIRV-capable platform. It is often described as a lighter counterpart to the newer Rs-28 Sarmat Heavy ICBM, intended to complement, not duplicate, that system's role. With intercontinental range and a strategic strike mission, Yars sits at the heart of Russia's ability to hit distant adversaries if deterrence fails. During the same exercise window, Russia also fired an R-29RM U-2 Syneva ballistic missile from a Delta IV class submarine, adding its sea-based leg to the show of force. Russian claims say Syneva can hit targets across much of the continental United States while the submarine stays inside Arctic bastion waters, highlighting how little the boat has to move to be in range. The R-29RM U-2 Syneva is a submarine-launched ballistic missile built to keep Russia's aging Delta IV SSBN fleet relevant in the nuclear role. It is smaller and of an earlier generation than the RSM-56 Balava carried by newer Bora-class submarines, but remains a key part of the older boat's punch. Syneva is typically credited with carrying around 4 nuclear warheads and having intercontinental reach, allowing a single submarine to hold multiple cities at risk. Its range enables Delta IV submarines to strike both US and European targets from relatively secure Arctic bastion zones rather than risky forward patrols. The system was designed to extend the combat value of the Delta IV class into the mid-2030s, bridging the gap until full replacement by newer platforms. On the tactical side, Belarusian units fired Iskander-M short-range ballistic missiles at the Kapustin Yar range, rehearsing battlefield-level nuclear delivery inside a theater zone. Under the defense-sharing arrangements with Moscow, the Iskander-M is effectively Belarus' primary nuclear delivery option, with crews trained to operate the system under joint plans. Iskander-M is a mobile, short-range tactical ballistic missile system designed to move quickly, fire, and then reposition before enemy forces can respond. It is operated by both Russian and Belarusian missile brigades, making it a shared tool in their regional deterrence posture. The missile strike range is generally estimated at up to around 500 kilometers, ideal for theater-level targets. It can be fitted with either conventional or nuclear payloads, giving commanders flexibility from battlefield strikes to limited nuclear use. Iskander-M is designed for high-precision attacks on critical military infrastructure like airfields, command posts, and logistics hubs. Its maneuverable re-entry vehicle and evasive terminal profile are meant to complicate interception by modern air and missile defenses. Each missile is launched from a road mobile transporter erector launcher, allowing rapid deployment across dispersed sites. The system has been used frequently during Russia's operations in Ukraine, providing real-world combat data on its performance. Russia also added an air-delivered element, testing the Kh-47M2 Kinjal air-launched ballistic missile from a MiG-31K interceptor. Kinjal is an air-launched hypersonic ballistic missile system built to give Russian aircraft a standoff strike capability at extremely high speeds. It is carried mainly by modified MiG-31K interceptor aircraft, with some reports also mentioning two 22 cubic meters bombers as potential carriers. Open sources put its strike range at roughly 1,500 to 2,000 kilometers depending on launch profile and carrier. Russian claims say the missile can travel at speeds above Mach 10, making interception very challenging for many existing defense systems. It is designed to carry either conventional or nuclear warheads, allowing both precision conventional strikes and strategic deterrent roles. Kinjal is believed to be capable of maneuvering during the terminal attack phase, further complicating defensive calculations. Russia has used Kinjal repeatedly in its operations against Ukraine, testing both its effectiveness and the West's air defense responses. Overall, the system is intended to punch through advanced air defense networks and threaten high-value targets deep behind the front lines. Together, the Iskander and Kinjal launches underscored how Russia's tactical systems could be used to deliver nuclear strikes inside regional theater zones without resorting to its heaviest ICBMs. Strategic Aviation joined in as a Tu-95MS bomber launched long-range cruise missiles, demonstrating the airborne leg of Russia's nuclear triad. The missiles were widely assumed to be Kh-101 or Kh-102 types, stealth-enhanced, long-range weapons tailored for deep strikes. The Kh-101 and Kh-102 are long-range, air-launched strategic cruise missiles built to give Russian bombers global reach against high-value targets. They are primarily launched from Tu-95MS strategic bombers, and in some cases from Tu-160 aircraft. The Kh-101 variant carries a conventional warhead and is used for deep precision strikes on critical infrastructure. The Kh-102 serves as the nuclear-capable counterpart, designed to deliver a nuclear payload at intercontinental ranges. Their operational range is often estimated near 5,000 kilometers, allowing launches far from enemy air defense zones. The missiles incorporate radar-evading features and terrain-following flight profiles to reduce detection and interception chances. They have been used extensively in Russia's long-range strike campaigns, including during operations in Ukraine. As part of the airborne leg of the triad, they are a key component of Russia's nuclear and conventional deterrent posture. At sea, Russia added a naval hypersonic layer by firing a 3M-22 Zircon missile from the frigate Admiral Gorshkov. Reports emphasize that Zircon is built to hit both high-value ships and land targets, giving surface combatants a powerful dual-role strike option. Moscow claims Zircon can reach about Mach 9, arguing that such speeds make it extremely difficult for current air and missile defense systems to track and intercept. The 3M-22 Zircon is a hypersonic cruise missile launched from surface warships and, in future, submarines. It is reported to travel at speeds reaching roughly Mach 9, drastically reducing reaction time for defenders. Its range is estimated at more than 1,000 kilometers, allowing Russian ships to threaten targets well beyond the horizon. Zircon can carry either conventional or, potentially, nuclear warheads, giving it both tactical and strategic applications. It is designed for high-speed anti-ship missions and precision land attack roles, targeting carrier groups and coastal infrastructure. Russian statements say Zircon has already been tested against ground targets in the Ukraine conflict, showcasing its versatility. The missile can also be deployed from Yasen-class attack submarines, extending its reach underwater and complicating NATO's maritime calculus. Its relatively compact size lets frigates and other surface combatants carry multiple rounds, enabling mass salvos from a single ship. Taken together, the 6 missile launches showcased every leg of Russia's nuclear delivery triad, from land-based ICBMs to submarine and shipborne weapons and air-launch systems. Land, sea, and air platforms were woven into a single scripted demonstration of readiness and escalation, designed to remind NATO that any future confrontation will not be limited to one domain.